Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series videos I've been doing for the water. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, and folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, we're doing another sub sandwich review. Ha 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 ha. But anyway, we'll get to that, folks. It's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, excuse me, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Thought I was going to hiccup. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Well, folks, I'm doing my Stellar Circuit shirt. It's got a little thing. It's got a design on the back, but it's a little thing on the thing. If you're not familiar with the band Stellar Circuits, they are a band out of North Carolina. I personally consider them very much to be an up-and-coming band. It's been really cool watching them since I first found out about them several years back on Facebook. Watching them just grow. Like, every time I see them, they're just, that much bigger than they were before. At the time I'm doing this, I was fortunate enough, a little over a week ago, I got to see them perform live. They made their way out to Chicago, and I always try to be there when they come through. And yeah, man, they're always excellent. They just recently put out a new album, time I'm doing this, called Sight to Sound, which is an excellent album. I definitely recommend it. And yeah, man, like, these guys are really fucking cool. They're excellent people. And I can't say enough good things about them. If you happen to be interested at all, by the way, I have an entire playlist of just concert videos of just shows that I've been to over the years, and I definitely have a number of videos of Stellar Circuits in that playlist. But anyway, what am I reviewing for you folks? What are we doing here? Why is it a sub sandwich? Well, it's definitely a sub sandwich review. With it being a sub sandwich review, I have to preface it with three things. First being that I've been going on sub sandwich adventures for a little over a year now. What that means is I've been trying out sub sandwiches from basically every place that you can imagine. Be it chain locations, delis, Walmart, what the fuck ever. If there's a sub sandwich to try, I'm reviewing it, and I'm going to post it on the good old internet. Number two, if you like my sub sandwich reviews, which people seem to enjoy them, and I appreciate that, I have a convenient location for them because I have an entire playlist called Subs for Subs that is just my sub sandwich reviews. So if you want them all in one convenient spot, they're all right there for you. The very final thing, folks, that I have to mention, if you're still not getting enough sub sandwich review goodness from your buddy Brandon, just wait until Sunday. Why? Because Sunday is SUBday. Sunday is the day when I go over there and upload my sub sandwich reviews. Typically, you're going to get at least 2 on Sunday. I had one time where I put up 1 because I just kind of forgot that it was Sunday, so I had to kind of scramble. But typically speaking, you're going to get at least 2. Sometimes I do 3 or 4. So there's plenty of sub sandwich goodness to go around. But anyway, what am I reviewing for you folks? Where is it from? Well, folks, we're headed back to, boom, Charleys Cheesesteaks, which you can argue the point and say cheesesteaks aren't a sub. I will argue the point and say that I believe they are a sub. They're just a specific regional type of sub. Obviously, Philly cheesesteaks are, the most famous incarnation of it. Fundamentally, it's a sandwich in between some long bread. I'm calling that a sub. This specifically is their sub of the month, is what I'm referring to it. It is their Parmesan Peppercorn Cheesesteak, which looks like, boom, it looks like this. We're going to get a better picture because that's just not a great looking picture. It consists of USDA steak, Parmesan and peppercorn sauce, provolone, A1 sauce, crispy onions, sauteed onions, lettuce, and tomato. I got it with everything, just as is. This is a regular size sub. And it cost me, boop-a-doop-a-doo. I think it was like, well, on the thing, it was part of a combo. But I think it was like $8.99. So not half bad. So, let's go ahead and let's try to measure out the ingredients a little bit. And then let's try to, God in heaven. How, please tell me you come in halves. Okay, you do. Woo! If that was one big long sandwich, that wasn't going to be a fun time. Alright. Let's go ahead. Try to get it. Try to get a... Ha 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 ha. You saw it. That'll be the thumbnail. Oh, God. No! Don't fall. Let's eat this thing before it destroys me. Well, first of all, home. Cheesesteak aspect tastes good. I like the Parmesan and Peppercorn sauce. It's got a nice little zinginess to it. Let's try it with the whole thing. Well, yeah. Ooh. With the A1 sauce. Yes, fucking sir. I got hit, like, with this real strong tangy flavor. I didn't know what it was. I thought I just bitten into a pickle. I was like, I don't think there's any pickles in this. Shouldn't be any pickles in this. But, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the A1 sauce. Okay, I like it. I proudly admit that I like A1 sauce. Some people think it's too basic of a sauce or this, that, or the other thing. I personally think it's one of those things because it's a popular sauce. People like to shit on it. I like it, man. I think it's good. Put that shit on a burger every now and again. I don't use it on steak, though. I will say that. Steak is one of those things, as long as it's a good steak. Typically, I just eat it by itself, but... That is a lot of flavor, man. And it works like... You have such bold flavors, but the nice thing is that they're not fighting each other. You know, the A1 sauce is definitely the most aggressive flavor. And when you get like a big pocket of that, it hits you. But even when it hits you, like the peppercorn sauce has this nice zestiness to it. So you got like the tanginess of the A1, zestiness of the peppercorn sauce. You got the freshness of the tomato and the lettuce. Lettuce isn't doing much, but it's there. It's, you know, it's rooting the rest of the sandwich on. And then you got the provolone and you got the and the steak. You also have the onions. Crispy onions aren't doing that much flavor-wise, but, you know, they're a texture thing. It works. Sauteed onions, you know, I'm not the biggest onion person in the world, but if you saute some onions, use them in the right way, I'm down with it. This is one of those ones, man, where it's like, there's so much going on. But I think I love it. I really like the bold flavors of this one. It's just... I would say this. If you're looking to just enjoy the goodness of a cheesesteak, this isn't it. Because while you do still taste the steak and everything, it can't compete, you know, against everything else that's going on. It's still there. It's still tasty enough. It's a good vehicle for everything that's going on. But this is one of those instances where it's a little bit less about the steak itself and more about everything else that's going on. But man, is that good. It's just, again, I like the really bold flavors of it. I mean, I'm down with it, personally. My criticisms of it, number one, the bread. Charleys doesn't have the best bread. It's not like, I'm not saying it's like terrible quality or anything, but I personally would like a bread that's a little bit firmer. You know, that feels a little bit more structured so they can hold all of that on there. That's personally what I would like. Again, it's not bad bread. It doesn't make it very easy to chew, I'll give it that. Like, you bite into it and it just wants to go with the rest of the sandwich. But I'd like some more standard kind of sub bread. I think that would be, just for me personally. And then there is the thing of like, well, it is an aspect that I like about it. I can also see it where it would be a criticism to have. Because again, You're getting all these big, bold flavors, and I do think that they work well together. Fundamentally, losing the cheese, the actual, like, the essence of the cheesesteak itself is a little bit disappointing. I think that it could be a little bit more balanced. Even though I like what they did with it overall, I think if they amped up the cheesesteak flavor just a little bit, maybe a little bit more cheesesteak, a little bit more cheese, maybe it would have a better chance of kind of, balancing things a little bit. But overall, I do like it. I think, is this my favorite cheesesteak that I've had from Charleys? Probably not. I think the classic cheesesteak that I had, which I also reviewed, by the way, I think that still probably took it. But, I like this one. I like this one. 2 questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I'm going to go with... Okay, that's a Jimmy. I saw a whole bunch of smoke coming from my neighbor's backyard. I'm like, holy shit, is something on fire? It's like, oh, no, they have, an outdoor fireplace. So, for whatever reason, it's on now at, 2 in the afternoon. Whatever. They don't complain about me not mowing my lawn enough, so we cool. But, yeah, would I get it again? I think I would. I think I would get this one again. It wouldn't be a go-to for me, though. As much as I like the bold flavor, it kind of works both for and against it. Because I think if I'm going to a cheesesteak place, and mind you, I'm not saying that Charleys is the most authentic cheesesteak place or anything like that, but I think if I'm going to a cheesesteak place, I'm going to go for a cheesesteak. Just a solid, just cheesesteak. This would be more of a side thing. It'd be something I'd get every so often to make it into the rotation. If I'm recommending it to other people, I think it really does depend on what you're looking for. I think overall it's a tasty sandwich. I think I've probably had something very similar to it from Arby's. I'm pretty sure that they had a peppercorn sauce beef sandwich at one point in time. Probably pretty similar now that I think about it, though I don't think it had A1 sauce. It's not going to be for everybody. I do think it's good, but you have to like bold flavors, and again, this is something where you're going into it not because you want a cheesesteak, but because you want this sandwich. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental much spend the rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly cheesesteak-tastic rest of your life, but a proper cheesesteak. Not that I've ever had a super proper cheesesteak. Not even that I'm saying that, Charleys isn't a proper cheesesteak. I just, when you think cheesesteak, you think Philly cheesesteaks, right? Well, I've never been to Philly. Maybe at some point in time, but not right now. We'll see. One day, once I go over there and I have 800 million subscribers, which, by the way, thank you, I just passed 700. Love you folks. Then maybe we'll go over there and maybe I'll peruse around the country, eating sandwiches as I go. But, final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. It's rough, man. Some days it's rough, and it's frustrating, and it's stressful. And when we run into those days, take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you live in Philly, right? Maybe you're over there, you watch this review, you're like, Brandon, that's not a proper cheesesteak. You got to go to this place, blah, 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 blah. Well, like I said, folks, okay, I'm not making any money doing this show, that's fine. It's for the love and the food. But, if I'm going to go over there and start trekking around and stuff, that's a whole other thing. Now, if you happen to be some sort of, crazy eccentric billionaire or something like that, and you want to go over there and, toss me a couple $1 million, I'm not going to say no, but we'll have to work out a contract. And no, it can't be written in blood, and no, I will not fight somebody to death. Depends on who it is, I might fight somebody to the death. Are they weaker than me? Because if we go over there, and it's like, all right, $2 million, the whole thing, we'll fund your show, all this stuff. But now you have to go over there and you have to fight multiple-time world kickboxing champion Don the Dragon Wilson to the death. Now, first of all, I'm not fighting him to the death anyway. I love his movies, and I love his kickboxing career. Plus, he's one of my Facebook friends. But on top of that, I'll get my ass kicked. I don't care if he is in his 60s. Beat the shit out of me. Just saying. Or conversely, hey, maybe go watch a Don the Dragon Wilson movie. They're really fun. Bye.